There is a new book out. It's called Caste. It's part of the Oprah Book Club, and I'm looking forward to reading this book. It's a whopping about 14 and a half hours on my audiobook version, which I have because I'm just going to listen to it while I'm at the gym. Let's see, maybe when I'm waiting for something, or I guess maybe when I'm in the car. But otherwise, I'm not going to listen to it. So it's going to take a while. But Oprah, I'm a big fan of hers. I think she has good taste in terms of books. I'm going into this with an open mind. I'm not seeing it as gospel or anything. I understand it's very relevant to the times in terms of racial injustice in America. I'm not going to take it as word for word, but I want to hear the idea because it's an idea that hasn't been explored before. In comparing the racial hierarchy in America with black people at the bottom, supposedly, to the caste system in India. Now, the caste system itself is a very interesting system. It's because it's a hierarchy that predates America. It's a hierarchy that has been um, set in place a long time ago, and it goes hand in hand with Hindu belief system of reincarnation, and that your place on the hierarchy is based on your actions as a person. So of course, this also in a way grants a certain privilege to people that are in higher caste because it says to them, you were a good person in a previous life, therefore you deserve to be in this place. And also it says to them, you if you mistreat people from a lower caste, it's okay because they were bad people in a previous life, and therefore you can mistreat you. If you look it up, there's a disproportionate amount of sexual violence against women of lower caste, and I believe the issue there is it's justified based on the caste, right? You deserve this because you are an awful person or whatever. Never, I'm an awful person. That's why I'm doing this. And so when we think about that and we start thinking about how that kind of translates to America, and only really the white and the black relation, you can kind of see the connection there. And so that's why I'm looking forward to it. I've already I've already been on this bandwagon of seeing hierarchies in societies, and usually it's based on different things, but many societies have made it based on race. And so, I mean, you can think of India, you can think of America, you can think of any other country here. If you go to Malaysia in the current day, Malaysians are the majority, yet there are affirmative action type policies in place to give them certain places in schools, jobs in government, despite the fact that they are a majority. I think they're 75% of the country. And this puts them over ethnic Chinese or ethnic Indian folks who are also Malaysian citizens. If you go back when there was a rule by the Mongolians in China, of course, Mongolians, and they themselves in their system, they valued warriors. So this means Chinese and academics, they are lower on that hierarchy. We could go back to Hammurabi. I read this amazing book, Sapiens, by a historian Yuval. I forgot his name, Israeli historian, and he mentioned how Hammurabi of the Babylonian Empire, we know it as eye for an eye, but if you look at the finer details of that law, it's only it only applies to higher class men. So there's a higher commoner and slave class, and that itself is divided by men and women, with men having greater value than women. So the eye for an eye only works if you're of that higher male class. If, for example, this is one of the laws now, I had to make it up. If you are a higher class man and you blind a higher class you accidentally kill a higher class man's, was it daughter? Then you yourself are not blinded, but rather your daughter is blinded. Of course, this makes no sense. Why not blind the person that blinded you? Well, again, it's because of that hierarchy. Women were viewed as property, same way that, well, I hate to say it, we might see dogs right now. They are living beings, but we don't necessarily give them those full rights. And so when the when you hear about the full extent of that law, you can start to see the hierarchy is pretty messed up. It's designed to serve justice, but the system itself is unjust because it places certain people and their values as people much lesser than others, and applies to class, applies to gender, and so you can sort of see the, I guess, the inherent discrepancy when you're trying to view justice. All right, so I'm looking forward to this book, Caste. I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. Looking forward to seeing how it relates. More importantly, I think this is a great start just because I did not like white fragility. I bought it because my employer said, you know, you can get this book for free. And I'm 50-50% with that book in terms of, and I should make a review, but I like some of it. It's some very enlightening. On the other hand, I disagree with a lot of it too. And the worst thing about that is she's highly educated, the author, and she has a PhD in sociology. She's a professor, and she works as some kind of diversity trainer. But she is very poor at using historical context and data, and and she's so very keen to use anecdotal evidence. You know, little bits of pieces of stories from her own personal experience, and that's not enough for me. That's not convincing evidence. And so with Cass, she's now looking at, I think, not just India, but I think another system from history, ancient civilizations, and then I think was it South Africa, and then using that to draw the parallels between that and modern day America. Okay, so I'm gonna check it out, and then after I'm done, I'm going to give a review on it. Take care.